The third largest Norwegian city is Trondheim. It's known for being linked to unruly Viking kings, but little is known about their connection to Ukraine. The life and legend of Olav Tryggvason is enshrined into Nordic literature. He ruled Norway from the year 995 to 1000 AD and is credited with founding the city of Trondheim. A monument dedicated to him is mounted on top of a pillar in the city's center. But there is one little-known fact that might surprise you. He had spent much of his childhood in Kyiv. Olav fled persecution in Norway and spent much of his youth in the royal court of Yaroslav the Wise, the Grand Prince and ruler of Kyivan Rus.
Probably he could speak better Ukrainian than Norwegian.
Historians believe Olav was the first king with strong ambitions to make Norway a Christian state.
Where did he learn about Christianity? In Kyiv, of course. So this is very, very, very important.
In Norway for generations, the common belief was that Western priests shaped the country's early Christianity, but it wasn't until after the Cold War that those beliefs began to shift, according to some archaeologists and historians.
Scholars have known this for quite a long period. Even Soviet scholars knew it, but they weren't allowed to work with it.
It's still debated today how much influence Kyivan Rus had on forming Christianity in Norway.
Norway, at least this part of Norway, must have been influenced by this Kyiv Rus culture, because Olav Tryggvason was raised there. Olav Haraldsson, also Olav the Holy, the National King, he stayed here for a while.
Olav Tryggvason is not the only great Norwegian who had strong ties to the Ukrainian lands. The legendary King Olav Haraldsson. He is the patron saint of Norway. He conquered and consolidated the country. Olav Haraldsson was committed to the cult of Saint Clement, largely revered as a martyr. After supposedly being tied to an anchor and dropped into the Black Sea near Crimea during the reign of the Emperor Trajan in the year 100. Olav even built a church in Trondheim dedicated to the saint, yet the exact location of it remained a mystery for centuries until 2016. So we're about to check out the remains of the church, which is more than 1,000 years old.
Yes.
So what kind of significance does it hold for you, this discovery?
It's quite fantastic. It's the dream of an archaeologist.
King Olav Haraldsson was first buried here. This site is important for Norwegian history, religion and politics.
He managed to unite Norway after he died, because when he died at the Battle of Stiklestad in 1030, a year after was made the national saint of Norway, and sort of that was how the Norwegian state could be built.
Stories constructed around sainthood were used to establish and stabilize power in the Viking Age, just as religious relics were. The ruler of Kyivan Rus, Yaroslav the Wise, passed on a relic of Saint Clement to King Olav Tryggvason as a sign of their alliance before the rule of Olav Haraldsson. But both Viking kings used the Saint Clement cult to consolidate their power.
St. Clement's relics were sort of the power that gave Prince Vladimir. He was a very eager missionary to christen the people of Ukraine, and so were these two Norwegian kings. So St. Clement gave Vladimir power to do this Christian work, and they also wanted to have the same power as they were doing the same sort of enterprise here in Norway.
It's hoped that this sort of archaeological work will uncover further evidence of how Kyivan Rus influenced Christianity at the start of the second millennium in Norway. For UATV, this is Tamara Rosevan